What if I told you that there is a way for you to cut down on IT expenses without losing efficiency and without losing all those deliverables and milestones and stage-made promises? Bear with me. You know that typically around October and November, we start talking to our clients about their plans for the next 2 or 3 years. And I think I've never heard it so often than this year that companies want to cut down on their IT expenses for 2025. When I talk to CTOs and CIOs about cutting down, the first two areas where they try to make those cuts would be enterprise subscriptions and vendors. When it comes to subscriptions, everything is pretty straightforward. Do we need that Cisco phone? It's $200,000 a year. No, we only use it for a couple of meetings a month. When it comes to vendors, typically those vendors are working on stuff that is needed in a couple of years, right? And you're giving your FTEs everything you want to be delivered in the nearest future. And when you look at it like that, you need to cut your vendors because that stuff is not immediate, and you need to cut on some of the enterprise subscriptions that are non-essential. And then you look into your FTEs, and there are always people to cut. In large organizations, it's impossible for every FTE to be as efficient as you thought that person would be. So you find those that have vague reputation or questionable reputation, and you cut those. You're done. You had, I don't know, let's say you had a $5 million IT budget and then you cut it down to $4 million. Great. It's exactly what was asked of you. The effect of this step will be felt only in 1 or 2 years when the company stabilizes or starts to grow rapidly through other means, and all of a sudden, the company needs IT to be as efficient as possible to support multiple projects that business absolutely needs, and they're very mission critical, but IT can't move that fast. I would tell you that there is another way for IT leaders today to win it all. Here's how it works. And yes, we're going to talk about AI, obviously, but here's the slight nuance here. You have to understand this vertical very well and experiment in it a lot in order for you to understand what is actually possible, what is actionable, what is not just made up. So the first thing you have to understand is that only 5% of engineers in the world are using AI today, which would tell you typically that it's not a real thing, that you should not be looking into AI at all because only 5%. But mind you, that 5% is millions and millions of very bright, very capable engineers, mostly in the Western world, moving most of the successful companies forward. If you're ignoring this fact, then you're not taking advantage of the opportunity. And the opportunity is huge right now for IT leaders. Here's what I'm talking about. I'll give you an example from our recent work at Techery, because we have our internal teams working on internal stuff all the time, experimenting with different products and ideas. We've been working on AI stuff for the past 3 years. And what we managed to produce just 2 weeks ago, we call it pipelines. It's AI that specialized in QA automation. We ran our experiments on a couple of clients, and it's amazing. In simple terms, if you have a team of 10 QA people, you're able to cut it down to 4 without losing any efficiency whatsoever, probably even gain some. So in that case, the question becomes, do you just move those 6 people somewhere else to be even more efficient, or you just let them go? Because in some cases, you got to let them go. In some cases, you could actually reuse those people in some other areas. And if your goal is to cut your IT expenses from the financial standpoint, just let people go. But if at the same time you want to win on the efficiency side, which seems to be the most critical thing for most IT leaders, you should use something like pipelines to automate your established processes and make your teams a lot more efficient. It is already possible. The time has come. That 5% threshold of people using AI in engineering sphere it's not a small number. It already tells you that the adoption is on the appropriate level. This level is enough for this industry, for this technology to start impacting your work more every month. So the sooner you get into AI game for your organization, the better for you as an IT leader. If you do it in 2025, you can win it all. You would deliver the most efficient year in recent history. All you have to do is just to accept the fact that we're living in a new reality where things like that are possible, and you're not an early adopter anymore. You're already the user of what's already established, because this thing has been going on for 3+ years, right? Every day there's an update, and it's impossible for you with your busy schedule to catch up with all of that stuff. So I'm telling you now, it is already possible to make your IT organization so much more efficient and for you to win it all. That's the message. I hope you're having a great week. And please don't forget to lead with tech. Lead with tech.